During this talk, we will take you behind the scenes of how the traveling exhibition Mothering was brought to life, including how it began, what shaped our approach, and what we learned in the process of curating and now expanding it. A primary aim of ours was to create a design research space for work about parenting and reproductive journeys. Because design research has historically marginalized work connected to motherhood, reproductive health, and the lived experiences of womb bearing and caregiving bodies, due in part to cultural stigma, institutional disinterest, and limited venues for scholarly dissemination. Yet these issues are central to the human experience and deserve rigorous academic attention, especially in a field centered on systems, communication, and care. Mothering is a research and curatorial initiative that explores the potential of design to foreground reproductive experiences, from infertility and pregnancy to transgender and non-binary parenting and the choice to live child-free. We will share the curatorial outcomes from two exhibitions at Virginia Tech and James Madison University, including posters, zines, digital platforms, and speculative systems submitted by designers responding to reproductive justice and parenting. And thank you to Robin at Virginia Tech and Fei Shui and Beth at JMU for their contributions to this project as well. So throughout this body of work, we've asked, how can design research expand to include projects that emerge from personal reproductive narratives? What methodologies and systems are needed to share and document this work ethically and in a care-centered way? We argue through this presentation and our collaborative efforts for expanding the scope of what counts as design research. We aim to spark dialogue in how design can bear witness to and intervene in the most intimate and contested aspects of contemporary life and recognize designers and researchers as their whole selves. We were motivated by the growing urgency of these topics in the wake of Roe v. Wade reversal in the United States and the resulting constraints on healthcare, childcare, and family support systems. And this work advocates for new frameworks within design scholarship that validate personal, embodied, and politically entangled perspectives.
While these topics are underrepresented and undervalued in design research, there are a lot of people and groups working in these spaces. Our goal was to add to the conversation and to expand the dialogue with a particular emphasis on graphic design. One of the very first sparks of inspiration came from the book Designing Motherhood. This book is smart and rigorous and expansive. It maps out the history of designed objects of reproduction, such as forceps, birth control, breast pumps, maternity wear, and it also critiques the systems surrounding them. We were struck by its clarity and focus on material culture, and we saw space to do something similar or parallel in the world of communication design. The themes in designing motherhood, birth, postpartum, pregnancy, reproductive intervention, this all showed us how deeply design shapes experiences. But it also made us wonder, what else do designers do and where are they? Not just the objects, but the systems and the stories. Many artists have also inspired us, like Andy Galdi-Vinco, photographer and author of Sorry I Gave Birth, But I Disappeared, and Now I'm Back. Many exhibitions about motherhood are rooted in fine arts, and we wanted to focus a call for work from graphic designers, educators, or researchers working in these design-specific fields. So why did we start this? Conversations about caregiving, reproductive health, and family life are often quiet or hidden in professional design spaces. But regardless of whether or not we talk about them, these things shape how we move through the world. We wanted to make that visible, to bring it into the gallery space unapologetically and invite others to do the same. At the heart of this all is this idea of creating space to be seen, to connect, and to care for one another. Our initial call invited people to submit works about female reproductive health, infertility, transgender and non-gender binary parenting, pregnancy, birth, after pregnancy and birth experiences, motherhood, parenthood, and living child-free by choice.
We disseminated the call on our Instagram and across our network. In total, the two exhibitions at Virginia Tech and JMU featured 89 artists and designers. Some of these people donated or sold their work to be part of the permanent traveling collection, which will enable to more easily share these works in future spaces. One of the things that surprised and moved us about Mothering was how wide-ranging and deeply personal the submitted work was. So many topics emerged. We planned for this, but didn't necessarily expect it would resonate with so many people. The submission showed us how truly expansive this conversation can be. This mothering and parenting was the most visible and expected topic, but we were intentional to not limit the work to the happy, tidy stories. Submissions touched on early postpartum, single parenting, parenting after loss, parenting while also caring for others like your own parents. We received a collection of submissions about infertility, stories that shared about IVF, miscarriage, interventions, and grief. And it was clear people didn't necessarily believe that infertility was a private niche topic, but something that is deeply common and yet still treated as a private medical condition. We also received those work from those who are intentionally child-free, challenging assumptions that it's the only valid path to care to or for fulfillment. These contributions reframed what it means to bypass motherhood in a world that expects it. Menopause is another topic that is rarely addressed in academic or design spaces, yet it is a major life transition that impacts how half the population experiences their bodies, identities, and roles. We received several submissions that explored this shift.
Given the political climate, especially since the Dobbs decision, this was a reoccurring theme, reproductive rights. Many designers were exploring abortion access and systemic injustice. There was also quite a bit of work about invisible labor, experiences during COVID, breastfeeding, and how the imbalance has become even more glaring. We were really excited to receive and include work related to queer parenting. Submissions explored adoption, surrogacy, and the challenges of navigating parenthood in heteronormative systems. And of course, another major topic was maternal health. This theme overlaps with many others, but was specifically concerned with birth data, medical racism, rural care, and overall systemic support. New themes emerged at the JMU exhibition, such as pieces about adoption stories, and we look forward to seeing what new themes emerge in future exhibitions. In the end, this exhibition is about love, love that persists through loss, love that manifests through care, and love that looks like resistance. Curating this show was more than selecting work. It was about holding stories. We received so much feedback from participating designers that they were so excited to have a place to share this kind of work. That felt like a responsibility and an honor. And we just want to share pictures of our own children. When we started this project, I was pregnant with my second child and Megan had a newborn. So for both of us, this was more than just an academic project.
And for me, I struggled with trying to become a mother, and I'm grateful for the community I found that have shared their own stories full of challenges, but also so full of love. And thank you all.